and Kayla, and we are here today to do a short video about a couple strategies that Andy and I use. And we wanted to share them with you because I know a lot of school counselors are getting ready to go back to school, or you've just started your school year. And we have a couple strategies that are great to add to your toolbox because they are very inexpensive, they're quick, and they're effective. They
That's
work.
Right. Absolutely. And they're easy. Absolutely.
Those are the best kind.
Absolutely, exactly. So we're going to start out with ants today. Automatic negative thoughts. Kayla's got a great example.
So I drew an ant for you. You can write the negative thoughts, a student can write the negative thoughts in the body of the ant. And if you were going to use the body of an ant to do this activity, I would suggest having some ant bodies pre-made so the student doesn't get hung up on drawing the ant body instead of the negative thoughts,
right,
which is one of the purposes of the activity. So this one says, nobody likes me, and this one says, I'm stupid. Very harmful negative thoughts that I've heard students say before.
Often.
Yeah, so students can write it in a body of an ant. If it's an older kid or they're too cool to do it, this way, they can just write it on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be in an ant body. And then after, the student or yourself can crumple up the piece of paper, crumple up the ant, throw it on the floor, and then the student stomps out the ants with their feet. So the activity is called stomping out the ants for that reason. So they're stomping them out, flattening them, and getting rid of the negative thoughts.
Yep, absolutely. And when they're stomping out the ant, they're using, with their stomps, are PATs, positive automatic thoughts. That's right. Got another great example here. So, Kayla's traced out her hand, so you can have your kiddo that you're working with, or it's in your life, trace their hand, and for each digit, they put a positive automatic thought. And those positive automatic thoughts have to directly relate to their ant. So if the ant is, I'm stupid, and they come up with a positive automatic thought of, I'm a fast runner. That's very important positive automatic thought, but that's maybe for a different ant. Mm-hmm. So you want to kind of redirect them to, hey, that's a great ant. We're going to use that another time, or we're going to ask you about that at a different time. But right now I want an PAT that has to do with your ant. And have them come up with 5. And then when they're able to do that, come up with all 5, have them say each one of those PATs out loud while they're stomping the ant. So that's how to do that. And when I'm first working with a kid on their, and even some adults, with their PATs, I will, before I have them write it down, I will kind of verbally ask them, hey, let's come up with some PATs. And it usually takes them about 5 to 20 minutes to come up with 5 PATs if they've never done this before. And I let them kind of struggle a little bit with it. I may throw some hints out every now and then if they're really hung up. But I think that struggle can kind of help because they get that aha moment when they come up with a PAT. And I think that's one of the things that helps keep it in there for them.
Yep.
And so then after they've come up with 5, I'll quiz them. Hey, what are your 5 PATs? And usually they're not able to come up with all 5 right off the bat. They'll come up with 3 or 2. And so then if there's some missing, I say, okay, so we got to come up with 2 more PATs if they came up with 3. And they'll come up with those 2. And again, they will kind of struggle with it a little bit, but it comes a little bit faster. And then I ask them again, okay, so what are your 5 PATs? And then they sometimes, it's about a 50-50 shot. They're still not able to kind of come up with all 5. So then I will keep quizzing them and have them keep coming up with PATs until they're able to come up with 5 PATs they can remember. Mm-hmm. And then I know, cool, they got it. We can move on. We can either put it on a piece of paper or move on to another activity that has to do with this.
Mm-hmm. So the way that I often do it with students is many of them enjoy tracing their hand, and I allow them to decorate it however they want, write their name on it. So it's a little art activity too. And then having the 5 fingers it's a great way to make sure that you're coming up with 5 for every ant that you have. So some that I wrote in these fingers, this one says, I'm smart, I'm a nice friend, can't read that one. I care about animals, I help others, and I'm a good listener. So these are some that I've heard students come up with over the years. And what's nice about this is they can then take this with them. It's a great reminder. Some of them will want it taped right on their desk in their classroom, or they'll keep it in a folder. Sometimes they'll bring it home to share it with their family. I usually keep a copy of it too, so I can remember what they came up with and we can talk about it again in a later session. And the point is basically to replace the ants that are automatic, those negative thoughts. You want them to become positive thoughts that are automatic.
That's right.
In its place.
Yeah.
And what's great about this is if you have, as a school counselor, if you have a teacher come to you with a student who's struggling with negative thoughts or low self-esteem and they're concerned, these are two strategies that you can coach a teacher on or a parent on, and they can then do it with that child. You don't have to be a counselor to do these two activities. And all you need is some paper and something to write with, something to color with, and that's all you need, and it works.
Absolutely, yeah, and pretty quickly for some folks. So any other things you want to leave folks with today?
Nope, just I hope these tools are things you can add to your toolbox for this school year and in the future, and hope you like it.
That's right. So as always, this may not apply to you or may not fit in your life, but if it does,
work what works for you.
And leave the rest.